So traders, I think most people are probably seeing the wrong thing when it comes down to the oil market. And as you know, there's a big thesis out there where Trump drill baby drill, okay? And under the thesis of that, you have a lot of people really still thinking that what makes sort of common sense, right? That if he's going to drill, there's going to be a lot more supply. Therefore, the oil price should go down, right? And this is where I think there's a bit of a danger territory happening right now underneath our feet when it comes down to the oil market. And that's what I really want to focus on firstly here is because one of the big things that I've learned when it comes down to these markets is we must be flexible with the markets. We don't know definitely what's going to happen, right? And one of the big things I actually learned from Ray Dalio is the biggest things is my not knowing, right? And if a lot of people are thinking one thing, like right now, a lot of people are thinking that if we go down the path of oil and oil is drill baby drill, therefore oil should go down. And there is millions of people right now that I believe that could get completely destroyed. Millions are going to get destroyed. And what I mean by this is this. This is the oil chart here. If I bring up the actual daily, this is the oil daily chart here. Now, one of the things is you don't know what's going to happen and I don't know what's going to happen. But one of the things I do know is, and you know the whole adage, the trend is your friend until the end, right? And so if that is the case, if we've been seeing here since this bottom here in May this year, what has the trend been in oil? At this point in time, obviously anything can change over the next couple of days and over the next week or two. But for now, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you don't know, and I don't know. And in fact, probably the opposite to what most people are going to say. And that's where, you know, millions are going to get destroyed. Millions of traders are going to get destroyed in this here, because I believe that people would probably say this is a no-brainer, right? Oil go down, drill baby drill, a lot more supply, the oil price should go down. But if I'm looking at this from a point of view of that may be true and that may be not true. But one thing as I do know is true is the big boys who push these markets around, they're the only footprint that I want to be able to see and be able to see what they're doing. And if the footprint is giving us a clear definition or a clear pathway of what's happening right now, we need to go with that footprint. And the footprint is trend analysis. The trend is your friend until the end. Now, this has not been me being right or wrong, bullish or bearish. I'm not either. I'm like, let's just see what this market's doing right now. So if we look at the USO, or look at the oil market here, right? The actual oil, you can see what's happening here. But what is happening here now? We had a high, we had a lower high. We had a low, we had a double bottom, we had a double top, then we had a higher low. Then it broke up, we came up, made a higher high. Now we're making another higher low. So right now as we speak, and if you're going to insert, but John, you don't understand, you're not listening to the big boys. Remember, the big boys, billions and trillions of dollars at their disposal, they're the ones that leave these footprints for us. Unfortunately, through my 20 years of experience, the first half of my trading experience was not listening to the big boys and thinking trading with my ego, trading with my thoughts, trading with my opinions, trading with what I think is going to happen. And at the end of the day, if I can just distill it down to keeping it simple, to just saying, you know what? The trend is your friend until the end. And right now, as I speak, and again, it can change, the trend is up right now on this market here. So if the market does continue to be in this upward motion, there is a line in the sand that I'm looking for right now, okay? And there's things called Fibonacci retracements. And so the line in the sand for me, and I've already got the line here, is this. If I draw a high to low, and I open this right up here, as you can see, this point right here on the oil market, this point right here around the $71 level, that is the 50%. If I just remove this line here, you can see that's the 50% Fibonacci. If the sellers are going to come in and start to create a downward trend, because that's all a crash is, right? This won't go straight down. It's not going to go from 68 to 12 overnight. It'll stay. If you look at any major crash, a crash is just a downward trend, and that takes a lot of time, right? So if this is going to start to form into much more of a downward trend here, and drill baby drill is going to start to take an effect, the trend will be over. Now, an upward trend, the most important part to an upward trend is these. As long as it's making higher lows, and higher lows, the trend is still up. So if you have any view currently right now as a short-term trader, as in what's happening over the last few months, you have to go with what the market's telling you. Now, if we stop making higher lows, if the market makes higher lows, and then we break the low, therefore when this is now making a lower low, aka if this market does rally up, come back down and break this low here, now we're making a lower low. A lower low is not a downward trend. The trend is no longer intact. But right now, that's not happening. So if you're trading with the ego, and the reason why I'm doing this here is because I know a lot of people, millions of traders are going to get destroyed when it comes to this here, because I know the thesis is oil will go down, right? Because it's like that's just what makes sense. So that's the first thing I really wanted to sort of cover here in that level there. Now, the big thing and the reason I'm trying to keep you on the neutral basis here is because there could be an amazing and an incredible opportunity coming out real soon, but to the upside. And why I say that, if I squeeze my charts up, if I take off this Fibonacci level right now, because I don't need that, you can see the trend is intact right now. Yes, we could actually break down. Okay, but let's just see what happens here. But if it doesn't, if this trend stays intact and it continues to be doing what it's been doing since May bottom, then, and I know this doesn't make any sense to you macroeconomic guys, but it doesn't have to make sense. Remember, the big boys are showing you what's going on here. And remember, the market is a contrarian, right? So if most people think the market is going to go down, then it's probably going to go up. And so therefore, if we watch oil here, then oil could be, if we do come up and break out and we get a big breakout like that through there, then we could possibly start to see oil back up to around the 96, maybe even the $100 level pretty quickly, right? Then we'll likely see an explosion, because now it's calling up, right? Calling up. And if that happens, this here is a false breakdown, followed by up, followed by down, followed by up, and then boom, big move up. So this here could be a false breakdown, aka what I call a slingshot pattern, a false breakdown, and we move back to the upside from there.